We're going to be comparing Henny Rayson's Inheritance with Ivan Sen's film Beneath Clouds. So we're just going to start with the basics of each text. So Henny Rayson's Inheritance is set in the late 1990s, whereas Beneath Clouds is kind of hard to tell for sure, but we're just going to presume it was set in 2002, which is when the film was released, as there's no real reference to any particular time period. It just looks relatively present for the time. They've got cars and they don't really specify exactly, so we're just going to go with about 2002. So in Australia in 2002, John Howard was the Prime Minister of Australia. We were just about to enter into the Iraq War, and so this time period is long before Kevin wrote in his apology speech, so issues to do with indigeneity and Aboriginal affairs were sort of not really resolved, and he didn't do a great deal in regards to that. Now, in Henny Rayson's Inheritance, we're set in the late 1990s, and what I've written here is it's typified by a rising swell of conservatism and the emergence of Pauline Hanson onto the public consciousness. Put simply, racism was in. So those people that are racist in the play are sort of being supported through the public eye and through the idea that Pauline Hanson has made it to Parliament. She's got some sort of political power, and she is also a proud racist, and so there's a certain degree to which racism is supported at this time. The next thing, we're just going to look at the basics of the text. So we're looking at the pacing, so how quickly things move, and the focus of each text. So Inheritance is very quick, very rapid fire. Even though it is a play, you might presume that there's going to be a lot of dialogue and a lot of talking, but even compared to other plays, it lacks any real sense of setting, so it doesn't really set up stage opens, there's minimal set direction. We stand in a house, there's a mower. It's very sort of sparse compared to other plays, and very fast. We get flashbacks to the past, and there's not a lot of sort of establishment of each of these characters. They're just sort of blurted out in front of us. Whereas Beneath Clouds is more slow, maybe meditative is a word you could use. It focuses on mood, so there's a lot of slow cinematographical shots, so really beautiful, poised, sort of photographic type shots where we see maybe a bird or a dead animal or the road or the clouds above the road, as is the name of the film. So just quickly, as part of that, flashbacks are part of Inheritance, so we go back to the past, whereas Beneath Clouds is very linear. We start at the start, Vaughan is in jail, he escapes. Towards the end, he's recaptured by police, likely. So start, middle, end, very straightforward. We get a couple of sort of little vignettes. So Lena goes back to her home, and we sort of see her home, but that's just part of the story. It's not a flashback or anything fancy like that. So the focus of each text is interesting as well. So whereas Beneath Clouds, it's a lot of non-dialogue communicating imagery and sort of ideas. The characters stare longingly at each other or sort of disdainfully at each other at different times. And when the characters do speak, it's brief but illustrative of their character. So they're not likely to monologue. They definitely don't talk to the audience or the camera. And they only speak in very naturalistic, realistic, sort of colloquial ways. Whereas in Henny Rayson's Inheritance, people are represented by what they say. There's minimal description of the characters beyond what they say, and each character is only who they are because of where they are placed within the family. So Nugget is the outsider within the family. Julia and Felix are the city slickers who are part of the family but therefore outside of it because they live in the wrong area and they don't have the sort of smarts that are expected of country people. Whereas Beneath Clouds is very dissimilar in this regard. The people are who they are, and we slowly learn who they are based on their actions. They don't really get represented as the daughter of anyone or the son of anyone. We know Lena has parents, and we sort of see a glimpse of them, but they're not really spoken of in any detail. It's just sort of, this is something that happened. Yeah, my mum hates me, my dad hates me. It's sort of a throwaway thing. Whereas in Inheritance, family is very crucial to each of the characters.